Hello again. So welcome to my channel. Here we are together with Jamie, and we will talk about Cancer 2025 horoscopes. So I'm so excited for this one as well. It has been so fun with the other signs, and I believe that we will have lots of insight for Cancer. So welcome, Jamie. Thank you for being here. Yeah, you are like used to this channel, so you can
Yes,
quickly introduce yourself as I share the charts. So thank you.
absolutely. Of course. Hi, everyone. Yeah, you might have seen me on a couple of videos with Matt doing astrology meets psychology. I've also done the Gemini North Node, which I do recommend that right now when we talk about the lunar nodes, you can also look at the videos that talk about Pisces North Node, Virgo South Node, because it could also give you insights into how to work with this energy for the next year and a half.
Exactly.
Exactly.
The notes will be pretty important here. So as the notes will change signs and many people will have nodal return or reverse nodal return. That will be a big theme like as we start the year. Okay, when we start the year on January 2025, we have planets in the same sign as they are today, like exact Pluto. So we have Jupiter in Cancer, Uranus in Taurus, and Neptune, Saturn in Pisces, and Pluto in Aquarius. So the North Node in Aries. So for that, it is also interesting for Cancer risings that like all of these planets are at the top side of the chart. So
Yep.
I believe that it has been pretty like socializing or interesting. So it made you kind of come out of your shell. So would you like to evaluate each planet, each transit for you for as a Cancer rising? So how they manifested?
I mean, I think for me, there's been definitely like the North Node in Aries has been like a big thing. Um, the the experience with that and like the way like financial gains and how things have been showing up on the internet with like the 11th house activation. I'm still kind of I don't think I'm feeling as much of like the Pluto transit as much as I've been expecting. It's kind of new and stuff, but I'm I'm really looking forward to that because I have a thing where so what's interesting is that with Uranus in Taurus and Uranus ruling the eighth house and stuff of like our clients' financial gains and stuff. Since I'm an astrologer, I make money through Aquarius eighth house things. I have this thing where when I come across like new forms of money, I tend to fracture my ankle. I have natally Mercury and Venus in my eighth house. So when I teach and I offer new things and stuff, like particularly I started offering like teaching astrology and online, I created an online course, making money in this way. I have this tendency to sprain my ankle or having ankle injuries, which is interesting because Aquarius rules ankles and
Oh,
stuff. So they're literally like, I'm making more money because Uranus is in the 11th house of making money, and that's great. But I'm also like, okay, I'm hoping other people haven't experienced this, but it's an interesting experience, and I want it to change.
yeah, you know, Uranus always comes with surprises. You have the surprise basically, but I believe that it has manifested in a nice way.
Yeah.
And for example, we also have Saturn and Neptune in Pisces. So I think as an
Mhm.
astrologer, I think you benefited from that, or it has shown you some way. So yeah.
Absolutely. And it's interesting because in some ways, like you said, because these are on top of the like above the horizon, it's been a lot of showing up more, but showing up more in a different way. Like before Saturn went into Pisces, I used to do a lot of video recordings and stuff for readings, and then I started shifting to writing, doing like written PDFs and stuff. And then I started teaching astrology. And normally, when I teach astrology, I don't write written PDFs for everything that I say, but once Saturn went into Pisces, I felt really motivated to do that. So the weekly syllabus, like with my new set of students, I was writing anywhere from 15 to 25 pages of written material for every week So I didn't mean to, but I kind of organically created a book for the 12 zodiac signs and the 12 houses and stuff without realizing it. And I tried to put it into AI to like structure the chapters and stuff. And AI was like, this is not one book. This is like two different books. So I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. So yeah,
Interesting, yeah.
yeah,
So, yeah, you structured kind of in a way with Saturn and Neptune there as well. So it has
yeah,
some realistic parts. You are also traveling, like you are in Bangkok. So, yeah,
yes,
and you had
yeah.
a while with these transits. And
Mm-hmm.
finally, I'm also curious about Jupiter in the 12th house. How has that been for you, as I can see?
I mean, honestly, I think it's kind of what I mentioned about like I've been behind the scenes writing and stuff. You know, I feel like that's where the Jupiter and Saturn, I didn't think about it until I'm looking at it now, but I'm like, oh, actually, that makes sense. Um, like my North Node natally is in Gemini, and I'm supposed to be teaching in bite-sized chunks, but I usually go down the rabbit hole. And I feel like this is around the time that I finally started to learn how to make things a little bit more digestible, smaller for people in the way that I teach astrology, which is a nice change.
Exactly. Okay, so overall, I believe like people, even though they are not astrologers, might go through the similar things in their education or traveling in their studies. So overall, like the lesson might have been focus or might have been social life, might have been traveling, for example, and the 10,000 North Node career as well. Okay, the reason why I ask these because these transits will also continue next year. So we have retrogrades, and it will not like it's over. So next, so we will have cycles. So that will be helpful for viewers, I believe. Okay, so now let's get into 2025. The first ingress is the North Node into Pisces. So then it will meet Saturn and Neptune in your ninth house. So how do you anticipate that?
So there's a few things that I'm thinking about. I mean, this year there is just like for us, there is tremendous 10th and ninth house activation and stuff. I think that's like the big thing. And I feel like with this, there's going to be changes in the medical industry, medical tourism. Well, I have a little thought about medical tourism, travel policy changes on like a big theme. And then on a personal level, there's themes related to work, personal goals, really benefiting from spiritually led businesses, incorporating and having a focus on your personal goals. And my personal thing is incorporating prayer and sleep. Now, this is because on like a big scheme, Virgo and Pisces are on the healing act are on the are it's the healing axis. And so this is where I feel like there's going to be changes, maybe like existing policies that have been a little bit more specific and detailed. That's Virgo might be emptying out for something that's going to be more inclusive and healing and stuff. What really came to mind for me was I think this is a great time for Cancer risings who are experiencing health issues to look into traveling in order to heal, because Jupiter rules traveling and our sixth house of health issues and the best way for us to manage it. And one of my best friends was actually recommending to me that blending my experience as a researcher, as an astrologer, astrocartography, and stuff. I've been trained in medical astrology, although I don't offer it as a service because I don't have a background. But as an American, I know that there's just really trash healthcare in the US, and it's easier and better to move, like literally travel somewhere to pay for a ticket in order to get like health issues. So this might be a time where I'm kind of considering doing this, or people can do this on their own as well, is to look at like what health issue do you have? What part of the world is going to benefit you? See if there's any medical tourism there. And I, as an astrologer, can look at like like if that area is actually going to be of benefit for you. I think this is a great way to really manage health and stuff. And specifically, the North Node is your fastest way to achieve material wealth, which is why I do think that there's things related to work, but it's also things you experience in excess. So things with Pisces, such as addiction, health issues and stuff, like those can also like come to like rise, but it's also things that you can let go of and heal through the process of mindset work. Regulating your nervous system. What are the insecurities, early childhood experiences, the dialogue that you have, the health issues, and your daily habits that are actually causing these problems, where when you travel, you can let those things, you can shift those things. I also think incorporating your personal goals is really important, and looking at businesses that are spiritually led, that making sure, because there's so many transits right now that like in 2025, where it's like there's retrogrades in your 10th, in our 10th house Aries that goes into our 9th house Pisces. So we can really reflect on that. And I feel like it's the time where, you know, Aries is very much about taking action and just going for it. So really playing with that energy. And then when it reflects it, when it goes back into Pisces, which is more reflective, look at like, okay, do these actions match my personal goals? How can I weave this in? You know, even when it's direct as well, I think that this is going to be something that's going to be the fastest way for people to achieve their professional success for Cancer risings.
Exactly. Also, Saturn and Neptune will conjunct the
Yeah,
North Node, so that will be about some
yeah,
groundedness, some idealism, and
mhm,
some success, basically. So life
yeah,
will kind of show you guys which direction you should go, or what you should
yeah,
learn, where you should travel, how you should
yeah,
expand and evolve. So that will be about big enlightenment or big, let's say, epiphany in a way, I believe. Neptune and the
yeah.
North Node.
Oh, I did also want to mention, I forgot. So, because you mentioned Saturn and Neptune and stuff, Saturn in medical astrology is like chronic health issues, and Neptune is addictions and stuff. Virgo is like digestion. So, this could be maybe like healing those things too. Like, you might experience more intense allergies or more chronic health issues that might be Pisces in nature. And those will tell you, like, hey, these are the things to heal and let go of, especially during eclipse season. And then the other thing I did want to mention when I brought up the prayer and sleep part, I think this is because I'm a Pisces sun. And so I see the value of it, where sleep can be a really good way to become productive, to connect with our spirit guides. I feel like we're not resisting as much. And especially with our North Node there and stuff, when you're trying to get clarity around your personal goals, like when I started teaching, I had such a hard time being like, how do I create the outline? And my friends were like, you should just take a nap. And I thought they were just annoyed of hearing me be confused, but they were like, no, seriously. I took a nap and I woke up and I just knew exactly how to structure it. You know, Neptune is sleep, Saturn is like that structure. It's a really successful tactic. It seems lazy, but it's really beneficial. So, and also prayer for that same reason as well. Exactly. You know, you get Gemini is a sign of knowledge. With Jupiter, you know, you get those psychic insights and those details, that higher knowledge and stuff. So I think that this is such a great thing. And Gemini rules self-made wealth. And I think one of the big things is I read this study that like people who don't have the highest self-esteem can struggle with prayers, because prayers is asking for something without earning it. So people will be like, oh no, I'm like, I have to earn it. Like there's this narrative, I'm not good enough. But we didn't come here to suffer. There are certain things that we deserve as basic rights and human needs and stuff without having to earn it, to just allow ourselves to receive. There's a lot of power in that. So I think that prayer and sleep, especially with the North Node being in Pisces for the next year and a half, is going to be really beneficial.
Exactly. That will show you the depth of the spiritual realm and the sleep, the prayer and the beliefs and so on. And that will be pretty like let's say mystical in a way. Okay.
Yeah.
So then, of course, eclipses are something to talk about. We will not go deep into eclipses here. And the next ingress will be the ingress of Saturn into Aries. So that will be a bit
Yeah.
tricky because, you know, Saturn is not really comfortable in Aries. And it is a very public
Yeah.
house for you, house of career. So what can you guys expect?
So for me, the thing is that like you're absolutely right. Saturn likes to be methodical, Aries is impulsive, so it's not really comfortable here. But I personally love this placement because I have a Mars Saturn conjunction. I've had a lot of practice with this kind of energy. And one of the things is that Saturn will block you with things that aren't meant for you. And Aries is very impulsive. And so it'll get restless with Saturn there, but it's also going to ensure that the actions that you take are actually going to be better, because if you constantly get blocked, it's going to force you to be like, well, what do I have to do differently? How can I come correct? And Saturn is the sign of strategy, success. It's about being productive, efficient, automating things, being effective. So I feel like it's a way to not just be in the spotlight in a way that's reckless, but it's going to make sure that you're doing it in a way that's beneficial. And it does depend on every person's chart. But I would say that, like, if you're having problems, if you're getting frustrated, it's usually because there's like this discomfort and you're not working with Saturn correctly. So when that happens, I would say, even though Saturn rules both Capricorn and Aquarius, I would say focus on the energy of Aquarius, which is inherently inclusive. And think about when you show up as a leader, are you doing it in a way that's successful to what you want? That's something that's going to benefit your clients, that's going to lead to your clients and customers wanting to invest in your services or whatever you offer? Is it inclusive? Are you doing it in a way that's going to generate success for the things that you want? Because Aries is self-oriented. It's meant to help people become motivated and inspire you. But if you're operating from the space of being selfish and not considering other people, that's going to be a problem. So I think this is where looking at Aquarius is going to be really beneficial for that.
Exactly. Self is a key theme here because we also have Neptune in Aries. So as it will also rules Pisces and your ninth house. So that will also be related to some type of healing service, spiritual service, how you benefit, how you inspire, how you encourage people in your services, and also how you are inspired by what you do, how you are passionate about what you do, how you are enthusiastic about what you do. So that will also be about the lack of or the loss of ego or the letting go of selfishness in a way. So it can also be about taking specific actions for your career. So doing what you have to do, basically being structured and organized. And it can also be about aiming high with your goals. Neptune in Aries will be pretty idealistic. So you will not just aim for the average, you will aim for the top, I believe. You will aim for the thing that you want with Neptune energy. Okay,
Yeah.
so for Neptune, would you like to add anything?
Yes. The other thing I do want to say is using derivative houses. So the 12th house is about your psychological detriment, your subconscious, unconscious mind, hidden enemies. It's also about healing, letting things go, wisdom, things of that nature. So if you use derivative houses, the 12th house from Aries is Pisces. So if you go 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, this is to say that the success of your business, how your career, you as a leader, Aries, the things that are holding you back can be Pisces in nature. And we have Neptune in Aries. So you can look at, like, what are some of the ninth house Piscean themes that are holding me back from becoming professionally successful? Am I not clear? Am I confused and unclear about my personal goals? Am I not seeing things from a higher perspective? Am I not being more inclusive? Think about the energy of having Pisces here, having the North Node here. What are some things that I can do? Maybe you're being too passive. Maybe you're being too lazy. Maybe you're not seeing things from a different perspective. These are things that you can kind of take a look at. And I would say using the energy of Neptune prayer to get clarity and specificity. And once you realize what those are, you can structure it with the support of Saturn.
Exactly. And also Saturn rules your seventh house, so partnerships, relationships. So that can be about some type of good support maybe, or some type of partnership, business partnership, or even romantic partnership. So as it is in the 10th house, whatever happens in your relationships will also be pretty public, I believe. So it can be public collaborations, public partnerships, and public business, for example. So that will also add some type of flavor of relationships. That's cool. So, and then later, when we get into summer for the northern hemisphere, and we will have Jupiter ingress into Cancer. So, and you're a Cancer rising. So now let's talk
Yes.
about that.
Yes. I'm actually really excited about this because my annual perfection, I'm going to be ruled by Sagittarius. For those of you who don't know this, I recommend you Google annual perfections chart and look under the images. Every year at every age, we're ruled by a specific house. So the sign and the planet or planets that rule it can become really significant. So, and even if you don't have that, like looking at having Jupiter in your first house is really great because this is an exalted placement. There's a lot of fertility. But if you're like me and you're going to be ruled by Jupiter next year, there's lots of stuff with like traveling and work and healing and my health that I'm looking forward to and whatnot. But I just feel like a lot of that energy of Jupiter in the 12th house, where we're manifesting, we're praying, now it's getting materialized. And so I feel like this is where like you all of the work that you're doing at the beginning of the year with working with your north node here is going to start, that blessing is going to show up in your life. Traveling, your personal goals, seeing the higher perspective of things. We didn't really talk about this too much, but really investing in your higher education is a big thing. Whether it's graduate school, traditional school, astrology, working with a coach, working with an astrologer, these are things that are going to be really beneficial. And when it comes into your house, this is Jupiter rules your ninth house of fortune. It's also about financial abundance. So all of that work that you're getting and stuff, you could start to experience, like it gives birth to that abundance and those blessings.
I agree, but there is some type of flavor at the beginning. We will have square from Saturn and
Yeah.
Neptune. So at first, it might not seem so. Maybe there might be
Yeah.
some difficulties, but
Yeah.
eventually, I believe as the square wears off, there will be more clarity for abundance. So
Yeah.
yeah, you will begin to benefit from the like expansion of Jupiter in a way. So, as you
Yeah.
said, the ruler of the
I
ninth
think,
house.
yeah, I really feel like part of what's going to help with that is really working with the energy of Jupiter in the 12th house. Because I feel like so many people are looking forward to Jupiter being in Cancer because they're like, oh, it's exalted, it's in an angular house, and that's great. But with any transit, in order for us to benefit from it, it's important to take advantage of where it was. Like it goes in order for a reason. And where I disagree with other astrologers is that a lot of astrologers are like, oh, you won't really feel Jupiter as much in the 12th house because it's a Cadent house. And I understand that. But I feel like because it rules our North Node house, we have so many activation with Pisces. I feel like if we really do use it for higher education, for spirituality, for astral traveling and stuff, like we'll be able to feel and experience those things. You can use that energy of Neptune in that sort of a way. I do think that there's going to be work that's going to be required. And like you said, that's a challenging aspect. You're going to know what it is because that block will just hit you. So then you'll know like, okay, this is what I have to work on. So it's almost like, the challenge is there, but it's also kind of straightforward. At least
Definitely.
that's
So,
what I'm hoping.
yeah.
I guess maybe
Uh,
with Neptune, there might be some confusion. Well, I guess it depends on your natural Neptune and your personal stuff. But yeah.
Definitely, personal aspects will also be pretty important here. And then after Jupiter, following month, we have Uranus into your Gemini. So again, that will be in your 12th house. Okay. So it might be pretty interesting with the energy of Jupiter because you already
Oh,
have Jupiter there.
why did it change? Why is Leo in the ascendant now?
So I will change it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry, you were saying.
Yeah. Uranus in the 12th house. So like you have Jupiter, dreams, spirituality, and expansion, like in the unconscious, like Uranus will come there to shake everything up. So How will that be?
So, I mean, for me, so there's certain things where I'm really, really cautious of. Like, I'm not gonna be quick to be like, I think a big thing is people are like, oh, this is a time where you can have more psychic access to things because Uranus is the modern ruler of Aquarius, which is in a psychic house and stuff. This can also like shake things up in your dreams. You might have like psychic dreams and stuff like that. And I know that like this can be a time where people can astral travel. We also have Pluto here in Aquarius as well. I'm not quick to necessarily recommend that because some people's charts do show that they actually shouldn't astral travel. They can connect with like darker entities and stuff. So I'm going to be cautious about making that general statement. But if it's something that you're receptive to, I think that this is a great way to use sort of that energy on more of a spiritual and esoteric level. On a more material level, I would say that Pluto is about magnetizing other people's resources. Eighth house is about your clients' resources. Aquarius is the internet. Gemini is the internet. Uranus is the internet. So this is like an opportunity for you to make money from your clients, but also the profit that you get, you might actually end up using it on hidden expenses for technology behind the scene, maybe AI, kind of innovating things. What can also encourage your clients to want to spend money on you can be doing things that are revolutionary, doing things that are different, psychological and stuff. I think that there's sort of like this connection there with that.
Definitely. So we also have trine Pluto from the eighth house. So that will have a big psychological side of it. But more than that, I love this little trine here. So we also have sextile Saturn, Neptune, and Pluto. So at the top side of the chart, it is like a crown for you. So I believe that that will pretty much be about your success, like that will come to you, whether internally and then socially. So I'm so hopeful for you guys. Uh, okay. So we again, like throughout the year, you will continue to have the transits in the top side of the chart. Uh, just I want to add something for viewers. So Uranus will be in Gemini, Pluto will be in Aquarius, and we have this thing. And especially if you have early degree Libra placements, there will be a kite. So make use of that, okay? Especially if
Oh,
you have early degree Libra placements. That will be cool.
oh,
So cool.
that's gonna be amazing. I didn't
Yeah.
think about that because I don't have that.
Okay. All right. So we have these transits. So then by the end of the year, when we go to December or January, so let me go to 21st of December 2025, and let's have Cancer rising on the ascendant. So we have Uranus and Taurus back again, Neptune and Saturn and Pisces back again. So what do you think these retrogrades be about? So they will kind of go in and get back.
I mean, a lot of this is kind of like not like a little bit of like a repeat theme, like with the energy of Saturn and then Neptune in our ninth house and stuff. I feel like this right here kind of goes back to correcting and making sure that the things that we're doing in the ninth house serves us, traveling for work and how this can lead to financial profits, working with our clients, these resources, things of that nature, and the abundance following us, all of these different things. It's very worky energy. You've got Saturn in your ninth house, and you got Jupiter, the planet of abundance. You've got activity in your 11th house of financial gains, your eighth house of your clients' resources. There's definitely like this theme going on.
Exactly. So right now, like I'm inspired. So I see a pattern. So at first, Jupiter squared Saturn and Neptune. So now Jupiter trines Saturn and Neptune.
Yeah.
So I think it will be the time that your work will pay off, your patience will pay off, and there will
Yeah,
be big expansion basically. So I'm
yeah.
also excited for you guys. Okay. All right. So I think I asked everything that I want to ask. Would you like to add anything in general that we might have missed?
Um, let's see here. Just like in general, as far as like the other planets or adding, what do you think?
The,
I'm
like
sorry?
Mars, the
Like
other
what?
planet.
Yeah, so I mean, I would say that there's very much a theme of, I feel like, health and work going on in 2025. So with a Mercury retrograde, for example, we have three of them, and they're in the vocational houses, the 10th house, the second house, the sixth house. So I see this theme going on. So we start off with the Mercury retrograde in March, and it starts off in Aries in the 10th house, and it goes into Pisces. So I think these are a lot of the things that we had just talked about like, collaborating, working, looking at like the derivative houses with Pisces. So I don't want to be too redundant, but kind of reworking your business. Maybe there's working with international clients and stuff. I think the thing that I probably want to emphasize, because we've already talked a lot about the 10th and ninth house, is when it comes to our health. The 10th house is often associated as our career, but it's actually our house of ideals. So this is our ideal diet, our ideal exercise, fitness routine, things like that. And our second house is about our food attachments, the things that support our physical body, such as the foods that we eat. Our sixth house is like how we manage our health. So this is a very general statement, obviously, but we have the fire houses, the hunters in these houses. So there's a diet of animal protein that can be really beneficial and stuff. So with having Mercury, the planet that rules our health issues, in Aries, and having the Neptune and the North Node being activated in Pisces, looking at like, is there some inflammatory health issues that you might want to look at? Are there some exercises and workout routines that you can do that can continue to benefit you? And then when we go into when we have the retrograde in Leo during July and August, this is about like how you make money, your money beliefs, the things that support you. So I would say this is nutrition, not just like your physical health and what you consume, but what you're thinking, how you're using your resources, like your finances, how are they supporting you? And really looking at like, is the food that you're eating benefiting you? Like the things that you've done during Mercury retrograde in Aries, are you continuing to support it? What are some other things that you can do? Like these things cost money. Do you want to rebudget your finances? Specifically, Cancer risings tend to experience fluctuations, which is why we tend to have money that's cyclical, because financial inconsistency can cause cause a lot of fluctuations in a person's life. So this can be a time to maybe rebudget as well. I'm being very general here, but Leo rules like the spine and the heart and stuff, but there are some things that you can look at here as well. And also just looking at like your possessions, how can you turn them into an asset, and like your career, things of that nature. And then when we have our last retrograde, our Mercury retrograde in November, and it's going to be going on for the most of November. It's going to start off in Sagittarius and mostly be in Scorpio. This is about our ideal habits, our ideal work environments, and stuff like that. This is a good time to, I would say, because Jupiter rules both our sixth and ninth house, is our daily habits, is our work environment supporting our personal goals and stuff? What are the daily activities we can do to ensure that? What are some health habits and practices we can do? And liver detoxes is really good for Sagittarius risings, Scorpio risings that have Sag in their second house, because it's things that support your physical body. I mean, liver detoxes are good for everyone, but just in general, one of the things I really like to do during Mercury retrograde is to do detoxes and stuff. So this is something that you can definitely work on. But then it also, Mercury retrograde ingresses into Scorpio. So the thing is that there's a lot of activities in the 10th house. And I think that what's important to remember is that Mars doesn't just rule the 10th house, it also rules our 5th house. And a lot of Cancer risings tend to be entrepreneurs because we have Sagittarius, the planet of, or the sign of freedom, wanting independence and stuff, that's a leader in our 6th house of our ideal work environment. So oftentimes we're entrepreneurs, so that's our 5th house. So thinking about like, what are you expressing? What are your creative experience, creative expression, things that only you can share, things that are related to your business. Are you expressing the things you need to express? Are you having the kind of business that you want that's going to lead to the career success that you want? These are some things that you can really take a look at during Mercury retrograde. Like, I know retrogrades get a lot of slack, especially Mercury, but it's my personal opinion that Mercury retrogrades are actually an astrological hack in order to get like really support us in being successful, because they happen about 3 or 4 times a year, about once a season, and it's the same. And it's an opportunity for us to reflect. It's not so much that it's like we can't do new things, but we want to make sure that the things we're doing are working. And this is the same practice that successful businesses and entrepreneurs do. They do quarterly annual reviews. So I think that this is something that's really important to do. And then,
thank you so much.
yeah, I feel like some of this other stuff, like Venus retrograde and Mars retrograde, I feel like in Aries, we've covered so much of that it's very similar and stuff. Let's see. I love when I do collabs with you because I'm naturally more efficient. Like when I do it, it'll be like 3 hours. As I have all these notes, I'm like, oh, we actually went through them. And I'm like really proud of myself. Like I feel like I really operate out of my North Node in Gemini. One thing I did want to mention, I'm looking at my notes, is with Neptune in Aries and Pisces, the retrograde between July to December. One of the things is this is really an opportunity, I would say, especially more when it's in the 9th house, because it's about your higher perspective. So you're able to like kind of shift your mindset. Neptune rules the amygdala, and it's very much about dreaming and stuff like that. So this is a time where you can really kind of shift your mindset. And I think because of the transits that are also going on in Gemini and the eclipses, the eclipses in Virgo, and letting go of these things, these are very much related to the nervous system. So I would say somatic therapy is a really great thing to do in order to regulate our nervous system, because no matter how much we have these transits that are here to support us, our nervous system is regulated to what we're used to. So even when we have greater and better opportunities, if our body isn't used to it, it can freak out. There's a risk of self-sabotage. So really preparing our body, our nervous system, in order to be ready to assimilate with the success that is coming for 2025, I would really recommend doing somatic therapy as a way to kind of rewire ourselves, because there's so much activity going on in the 12th house, which is about your subconscious, unconscious mind. There's lots of activities related to like the nervous system, Pisces, vulnerability. There's a lot of like change and mutability going on.
Definitely. So we have lots of mutable energy, and for health, like Jupiter is also your 6th house ruler. So at first, as we talked, it will have squares from Neptune and Saturn. So as with the retrogrades of Mercury, it can also be about some health problems. But towards the end of the year, maybe it might evolve for the better for health. Okay. All right. So I think we have talked about everything that we want to talk about. Thank you so much, Jaymie.
Thank
So thank you
you.
so much. I enjoyed a lot. So I think it will be a pretty interesting year for you. And thank you for
Thank you.
your insights.
Of course. Thank you.
Okay then, so for the viewers, this is the end of the video and hope you enjoyed the horoscope for the upcoming year. And please stay tuned for more videos. See you next time. Take care and goodbye.
Bye.